Hi guys, welcome to the James Bond Show. I'm your host, Krazy Kajeevie, with no fears, limits, or substitutes. Sorry about the lighting, guys, but it's all about what's behind me instead of seeing my beautiful face. Okay, so Bad Boy of James Bond is back with part 3 of Dissecting the Directing, or I should say episode 3 of Dissecting the Directing. Now, if you haven't caught the one I did today, because I'm on my comeback at the James Bond Show here, I did James Bond Confronts Electra from The World Is Not Enough. I did that scene where he confronts her in the hotel room. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's in the videos below. Okay, now Gary Bryant, thank you very much, one of my regular subscribers. Gary Bryant said that he would like to see the Living Daylight scene where James Bond confronts General Pushkin. And I thought, wow, great idea. I actually had this idea a few weeks ago and then totally forgot about it. So it wasn't on my radar when I've been trying to think of scenes to do. And Gary brought this up as an idea. So thank you very much, Gary. Now, guys, if you also have any ideas, leave them in the comments below. People are going, oh, I like this, but you're forgetting to actually do what I say, guys, if you want to see these scenes. So please leave in the comments below a scene you would like me to dissect. Okay, so this scene, it's John Glenn's The Living Daylights. Bond's about to take on Pushkin. Let's have a look of it. I've started on the wide angle shot where Bond is scoping them out, and I've started on this for a very specific reason. Let's have a look. So we see a nice wide angle. Bond doing spying work. So he sees that Pushkin's with his missus. Bond's got a bit of a smile there. Now, one thing I've noticed as I've really analysed this tonight several times before doing this video, I've picked up on things that I've never even really looked at before. Some things I did, but there was two little things that I didn't even know until tonight, and you guys may not know them either. So I'm going to reveal these to you if you don't know them. Now, right here, probably maybe a third one, in fact, have a look at Timothy Dalton as he smiles. So he's about to do this smile. The smile is because he realizes that Pushkin's weakness is right here, and she's going in there without Pushkin. She's alone. She's a bait. Have a look at the way Dalton, as Bond, smiles about it. As the camera comes in, look at his mouth here. Look at his eyes and mouth. There it is, right there. He's got a smile. He's thinking, I've got you. And it's almost this maliciousness in it. So now we're on this wide angle shot here. This is fantastic by John Glenn. You can see it's another security type car here. We assume that's probably security for Pushkin as well. Wide angle, telling us what the hotel is. A beautiful little pan up. So John Glenn's letting the audience know that Pushkin is up on the second level now. The lighting's beautiful. I'm not sure 100% if this is actually a film set, maybe at Eon. I'll have to do my research on that, or if this was actually from the hotel, I believe in Tangiers. But the lighting's beautiful. It's very natural. You've got some overheads here. Basically, they're using the lighting that's either been set up by the production designer or actually in there. Of course, the gaffer, lighting technician who works closely with the... I just stepped on my cat's tail. Who works closely with the DOP. Can change those bowls for brighter or darker kind of light, so that all goes into the exposure on the film stock as well. Now there's a real looseness between the security guard, and you see him grab something there. You think maybe he's going to check his guns there or grab his gun, but look what he actually grabs. And Pushkin's very relaxed. Little knock on the door, and the security guard grabs a book. Now, I can't read the whole writing. I freeze-framed on this earlier, and it looks like it says voodoo on the book. If anyone has any information about that book, I would love to know it. But it looks like it says voodoo on the book, and like it's almost got voodoo pictures on it. So let's have a better look, guys. Doors open, big smile on his face. Center of frame, she's on the right. Center, he's the focus of both people. Bond switches from the right to the left.
Go to the table.
And you see how director John Glenn always has Pushkin center of frame. She's looking at him, so his missus is looking at him, and Bond's looking at him. So he's the focus of the frame. And I think that's a great decision by the director. Now, there's something here, and I said before that there's parts here that I've never realised before. There's something here you guys may not have seen either. Have a look closely at General Pushkin. He looks at his missus and he actually says sorry. He says sorry to her, and she just does this little breathing thing, and it's like he's saying, I'm sorry, because he thinks in his head, I'm either about to die in front of you, or I'm going to get you killed, or I'm going to get us both killed. Beautiful touch by John Rhys Davies, such an accomplished actor. Watch him here. You see that little bit? We'll play back. Now, I wonder if John Rhys Davies came up with that idea on the set himself, but I think it's fantastic. Now, Bond never takes his eyes. Beautiful wide
Sit down.
angle there by John Glenn, and Dalton, as Bond, never takes his eyes off Pushkin. And I love Dalton's ruthlessness.
That this is not a social call, 007.
Now, what I love here, there's two things, and this is one of the other things, basically, the third thing that you may never have noticed before. James Bond never blinks in this scene. He never blinks. Timothy Dalton not at one time blinks, yet you'll see when Pushkin is very panicked, he blinks and he starts to blink a lot. Now, blinking in life is a sign of nervousness. Where you don't blink, you're so focused and you're calm. So let's have a look.
Correct. You should have brought lilies.
And I love that little touch by John Rhys Davies that throws the lilies
May I
away.
ask why?
Smiertspionen.
Schmiertspionem was a barrier operation in Stalin's time. It was deactivated 20 years ago.
Now, what I love here too is director John Glenn hasn't gone and shoved close-ups on these actors. He's got a more closer angle on John Rhys Davies because he's the focus and the attention here. But I love the way you can see he's got Bond left of frame, but he keeps Bond. This is like basically like a wide angle here on him, and it's fantastic. Dalton's so powerful and so powerful in the eyes as a former stage actor and a great screen actor, he doesn't need a close-up on him. And John Glenn recognises this, and this separates the angles between the characters. So they're in different predicaments, they're in different camera angles.
Two of our
Or
agents
different
are dead.
framing, I should
My
say.
condolences. We had nothing to do with it.
Where's Koskov?
He disappeared 2 weeks ago.
Now you see here, Bond's not blinking again, still not blinking, and John Rhys Davies starts to
About
blink a
have him
lot.
arrested
Why?
for misusing state funds.
See, he's blinking as he's
Don't
thinking
think
about
this is
touching the watch.
That is a security matter and cannot be discussed. I was damn stupid.
Now, I love the way that they've come up here between the scriptwriters and the director. They're using this girl as a pawn, basically, for the security guard. He sees her, he's shocked. Bond's hiding behind the door. Now, watch when James Bond hits, when Timothy Dalton belts him with the door, the security guard with the door, and then he smacks him in the head, and it is so realistically and done so well. Now, if you have a look at that, it's brutal enough, but there's no takes in it. The director hasn't felt he needs to take, cut. It's just done, boom, whack, all on the wide angle, showing everything. It's showing that she sees that Pushkin's misses, she sees everything in the frame, and she's seeing what Bond does. And the director doesn't need to cut multiple times. Now, he does a cut here. So it's, yep, he's closing the door, and now the attention's on Bond because it's like, okay, that alarm's gone off. What do I need to do here?
Get in the bathroom and lock the door. Stay where you are.
Again, old school directing, very subtle setups. This is very simple setup. Again, this would be like most likely tracking here, slight tracking here as well, and just a lot of movement of the camera. Not a lot, but slight movements of the camera. And we just track and move with the characters. And they can come in and out of frame, which works beautifully, and it's very easy then to turn the camera around and change the angle. See how we're still in decent wide shots? We go for a medium here. Now what I love, when we cut back to Bond, again, you're going to see that the director, just like Terence Young used to do, Terence Young used to hate close-ups. And John Glenn's got that old school style as well. And he's not being rushed into close-ups at all. He saves those for key moments.
Put your hands behind your back.
You are professional. You do not kill without reason.
2 of our men are dead. Koskov's named
Again, Bond doesn't blink.
Now why should I disobey my orders?
I am in the dark as much as you are. It is a question of trust. Who do you believe? Koskov or me?
Now, on this bit here, when Bond says his next line, there is only one thing in this entire scene I would change. Bond basically says to Pushkin, if I believed Koskov, we wouldn't be talking. Which means, if I believed Koskov that he was telling the complete truth, Bond would have killed Pushkin without even talking to him, which is brutal and effective. So it's almost giving Pushkin a glimmer of hope here. But what I would have changed is a couple of things. After he says this line, which I think is perfect, I would have stayed on Timothy Dalton for the next line. And then I'll explain what I would have done as a director.
If I trusted Koskov, we wouldn't be talking.
Now right here, you're about to hear Dalton come out with another line. I would have kept the camera on Dalton. I wouldn't have cut to him. I don't think we need to see his reaction and his nervous tension for this long and so soon, because I believe the next line from Bond is so important.
As long as you're alive.
So we'll go back slightly.
Wouldn't be talking. As long as you're alive, we'll never know what it is.
So he says, as long as you're alive, we'll never know what he's up to. I would have left the camera on Bond, and then I would have cut to Pushkin. But I would have cut to Pushkin. I would have gone the front, looking up angle, and I would have had his face out of frame, blurred out of frame. So we'd see his face. We're looking up this way, him. Bond behind him. He's blurred out of frame. We see Bond. Maybe as Bond says that last line, then we pull focus. Bond goes blurry, pull focus, and then we focus on Pushkin's face with him breathing heavy and thinking. That's how I would have directed the scene. So we'll have one more look at here.
Of trust. Who do you believe? Koskov or me?
If I trusted Koskov, we wouldn't be talking. But as long as you're alive, we'll never know what he's up to.
Now I can understand director John Glenn has got the eye line right here on the gun, so that way we can see the tension on Pushkin and he looks at the gun. But as I said, I would have just switched it to in front of him, Bond towering over him, Bond, his face out of focus, Bond's face in focus, he says his line, Bond says his line, then we pull focus onto his face from a low angle, and I think that would have been fantastic. This works, it works fantastic, but that's just what I would have done.
Then I must die.
And then when you hear that at the end, it's almost like, and imagine that sound in the cinema, it could have been like, oh, a gun's about to go off. So that's what I think. I think this is a wonderfully directed scene. I think Timothy Dalton, he just embodied Ian Fleming's James Bond, and that is why, I'm sorry guys and Brosnan fans, but that is Ian Fleming's James Bond. Brosnan was more like a model, a male model. Roger Moore, obviously the fun guy in that, but this is Ian Fleming's James Bond, and he's got so many different facades and faces, and he can play the humour, he can play the dark stuff, and that's why I prefer him. He just blows Daniel Craig off the screen, where Daniel Craig's almost got like 2 expressions now, if that. So beautifully directed. Guys, let me know in the comments below what you thought of my critique, what you liked about it, what you thought of maybe the change I would do, and let me know what scene you would like me to dissect next time. and they're going to come soon. I'm planning maybe to do another 2 tomorrow, so get your comments in, guys. And I'll see you same time tomorrow. Till then, guys, keep on bonding and say hi to your mum for me.